Hello, in this video I'm going to cover healer builds and how you can optimize your setups for trials using the Wizard's Wardrobe add-on. If you're not familiar with that add-on, I've done several videos on this add-on and how it is a very, very powerful add-on. So I will link my add-ons playlist in the description. You can check those out. I'm not going to go in a deep dive onto how the add-on works because I've already done that in a couple of videos. So if you're interested in the add-on but you don't know how to use it, I've got several add-on videos on that as well as other add-on overviews. So check those out. Probably can walk you through how to get set up on that. But without further ado, I'm going to talk about general things that you can do. These are suggestions. They're not hard rules of do this because I said so, or do this and nothing else, or if you don't do this, you're wrong. Not what I'm saying in this video. This is just kind of a suggestion to kind of get you uh, creatively thinking about things that you can do for your setups and your healers. If you use this add-on, certain things that you can do to optimize your trials group that you're working with. So let's get into it. So possibility for trash setups, not something I ever really heard talked about, but what can you do for trash setups on a healer setup? In most cases, especially before we had add-ons on console, you just kind of just ran the same build pretty much throughout the entire trial, except for if you needed to do specific swap outs like slotting purge or something like that. Then you maybe would get that. But here I'm going to make a couple of suggestions for trash setups that you can do. So as you can see on my screen there, I've got two assault skills slotted on the back bar. Um, they are purge and, or excuse me, not purge, echoing vigor and charging maneuver, and that is because I've got the powerful assault set on the back bar there, so that gives you two assault skills to cast. That's going to give a really good heal over time for your group, and then it's also going to give your group major and minor expedition, so that you're moving in between ad pulls with a massive amount of movement speed increase. That's going to increase your movement speed of your team by 45% collectively, as long as they're within range. And then they're also going to get the hot from the echoing vigor, and then the increased weapon and spell damage from powerful assault. So that is a really nice thing that you can do for trash setups to kind of on the fly optimize. And if you do this ahead of time, then you don't have to stop and set this up. This is just automatically going to pop on when you get to the next trash pull. All your skills, all your gear, and everything are going to be popped on and ready to go, and it's just going to automate it for you. So this is something you can take a afternoon or an evening to kind of go through all the trials and kind of spitball and think of what you need to do in certain situations. One of the one of the common ones that I can remember and call out all the time is the first boss when you do Kyne's Aegis on veteran. Um, Most of the time, you got to wait for healers to slot purge. In what I would recommend is go through every trial and figure out what you can do. Is you can here. I'll just equip this really quickly, and it's going to tell me that those gear sets are not found. This is a common error that I've encountered on the Wizard's Wardrobe. If you have this error where it couldn't find your piece of gear, just put the gear on that it's asking you to have on, and then what you can do is you've got the skills are moving, but the gear is not recognized. So what you can do is just go into where it is listed here and just save the setup again, and it will be fixed after that. You go to the trash setup, equip that, and it goes fine. So now if I go to Yandir the Butcher and equip that, and as you can see, it's fine. It now remembers what gear piece it is. Really quick and easy fix there. If you happen to have that error happen, you just have to put the build back together and save it again. Um, really easy to fix that. But what I would recommend is two faceted things I'm going to cover here. One, you're going to want to go through all the skills that you just kind of use kind of in a spotty situation, like for specific fights. For example, Efficient Purge. If you don't have this leveled up, let me do a couple things here to show you what I'm talking about here. So I'm going to take my jewelry off really quickly. And then I'm going to go into the skills, and I'm going to take my Breton passive that reduces Magicka skills cost, just like that. And then I'm going to go into the support here, and I'm just going to pull back the skill for reducing, or excuse me, the morph that reduces the cost of this. And as you can see, if you have this just at level 4 and you haven't leveled up, it still costs 6,264 magicka. That's quite a bit for a spell, especially if you've got to hit it in a couple of times in a short period. That's going to be really draining. So I would recommend that you power level your auxiliary skills, is what I call them, or your your utility skills, the stuff that you don't normally just always have for every boss fight, no matter what. Go through Purge. Another one that's really common, charging maneuver. If your group is calling you to run Razor Caltrops, for example, level these up. Just go do some Master Writs. I've done a power level video on how you can power level stuff. I will put that video in the description as well. It shows you exactly how you can power level this stuff. Another auxiliary skill I like to use for burst heal situations. If you have to cage heal for Sunspire or for Exarchanic Yaseyla, the first boss in Sanity's Edge, or maybe the new Ossein cage trial where the twins are. I guess it's a new version of the twins, where the curses are out. This right here is a great skill for that. This heals for a bunch of health, and it heals for 50% more for lower health targets. So just make sure you've got a Crux builder on like this. The Chakram of Destiny is a really good way to do that. You just cast this 3 times and then throw out your Cascading Fortune. You do have to aim this pretty well. It's only 4 meters wide, so just be advised of that. But this is a great skill to put on if you need to burst heal somebody up out of something. This really, really strong. So this is be something else you could put in on certain fights. So just short little tangent there. Every little tiny skill, if you're going to use healing ward for cage healing, make sure it's leveled up all the way. Put everything on your bar and go do some some Master Writs. You can level 10 skills at a time now because we get XP on both bars. Make sure you have an XP pot on and go turn in some Master Writs and power level the crap out of this stuff. I highly recommend Alchemy Writs because they are easy to do on virtually any character. You just have to have your discipline on your alchemy up all the way, and you can power level that as really quickly. If you don't have a lot of skill points on your character, all you have to do is go into a respec, go down, pull some points off of anything that you need, and then just put them on this right here, chemistry and laboratory use. So it's going to take a total of 12 skill points. That's all you need. And you can go ahead and respec right back to where you were. And then it doesn't even cost you anything to respec at the altar like it used to. You can do that right on the fly. Just make sure you've got your XP pot active when you turn it in. But anyway, let's get back into the Wizard's Wardrobe, and we'll just go through the trials one by one that need a kind of an extra detail of attention. Really, the only caveat I would say for Etherean Archive that you would want to think about outside of a trash pull setup is if you're going to do hard mode for the last boss, you might want to change up a skill or something like that to make sure that you can help your team push through that. Really not a hard trial to deal with, honestly, but if you're solo healing, you might want to make an adjustment for that. And honestly, you can make your own page on here, if for specific hard mode setups, you could do that as well. So you don't have to like adjust anything. You could just load your hard mode setup. If you know you're doing hard mode, load that page instead of just the standard one. That'd be something you could do. It takes a little bit more time because you have to do a whole different setup of that, but you can do that in here. It just takes the time to set it up. But once you've got it all set up, it's going to just be automated, and it's great. It's amazing once you have this stuff set up automatically. So next up, Sanctum Ophidia. Possibility of slotting Purge for Ozara. Probably not as necessary as it used to be. Honestly, with the power creep of everything and gear sets and everything and subclassing, maybe not necessary, but something to think about, something to try. Again, not a mandatory setup there. Hel Ra Citadel, again, if you're doing hard mode, maybe you want to put on the healing beam up for that fight. Most of the other stuff is not really super hard to heal through. Maw of Lorkhaj, again, if you're doing hard mode, you might want to adjust something there. Again, this is not a hard do this only. Just suggestions to think about to kind of get you thinking about what setups you could do to optimize your setups. Trash setups in every trial is probably going to be fairly similar because you're just running through killing mobs at a fast pace. And how do you optimize your team to do that faster? Give them movement speed, give them more weapon damage, that kind of thing. So for the Halls of Fabrication, the Hunter Killer and the Pinnacle Factotum, you probably want to slot Purge for that fight so that you can get the poison off of everybody. Also, St. Olms when you're fighting St. Olms in the Asylum Sanctorium. Cloudrest, again, if you're doing hard mode, you're probably going to want to slot something to give you some super heals there. Sunspire, the Lokkestiiz fight, if you are cage healing, that healing beam is going to be really helpful to help people get out of there, especially if you can line up and have the possibility of hitting both cages at the same time. That's a really nice one to use. Just going to take some coordination there to do that. Yandir the Butcher, as we covered previously, you need Purge to get rid of the poison that is out there on everybody. Rockgrove, there's a possibility that the first boss there with the frogs, that you could take some mitigation as well. Just think of little different ways of healing things. What steps you normally have to stop and hold up the group for, you can automatically load this into your wizard's wardrobe so that you don't even have to remember. It just automatically switches right when you walk in. Here's Exarchanic Yaseyla. So this right here shows that I've got the beam, the curative surge on there, so that if you're going to heal the ice cages on this fight, it's already slotted. You don't have to worry about it. Also, the tank gets a healing debuff, so you can kind of point that at him. So even if you're not healing the ice cages, you can handle that as well. Just something to think about. Lucent Citadel, probably mostly just the trash. You might want to slot something to help people run faster for the arcane not run. Not sure. Something to think about there. And then, as I said before, the Jynorah and Skorkhif fight, you could probably optimize that when you're healing the curse portion of the fight. That can be a difficult situation. Putting this beam on is probably going to help get that taken care of really fast. But I wanted to just kind of do a high level, more inspire people to think about what changes they make for specific fights rather than a nailed down, do this only kind of thing. Kind of figure out what you like to do for certain fights as a healer and just program those changes in here so that when you just walk up to it, it's just going to automate it for you. Again, if you don't know how to use the Wizard's Wardrobe, check out my playlist. I've done several different videos on how to set those up. It's really not that hard once you've kind of figured out how to get those set up. Just remember, the pages are somewhat like a armory slot, and so you can create as many pages as you want in here, and those are where your builds are housed. And then each trial has its own kind of room, so you can't really just load a page and then it is the same across every trial. Every trial has its own set of pages, so think of a trial being a book and then the page being a page in the book kind of situation. If you go into a different trial, you're not going to have the same page. So just remember that. You can name them all the same name, but you're on a different book if you go on a different trial. So think of it that way. And then you have every fight in here that you can set up. You can equip it. You can save it. You can create more setups if you want to. If you're more advanced, you can kind of set up a pre-buff page. I know some people do that, where you optimize certain things where you can buff up maybe a regeneration of some kind, something like that. You can set those up if you're way more advanced and way more in depth on that. But just to get started, that would be where I would start. Think of a trash setup, where you need to slot purge, and then where you need to burst heal, like a heal check. I would set those up automatically and see if that helps you out going forward. But that's going to end the video here. If you thought this video was helpful or useful, please consider liking the video and subscribing to my channel. I have a very large catalog of videos on my YouTube channel. They are all organized by created playlists. If you go to my YouTube channel and go to my playlist section, either the tab on the top portion, or you can drop down into it by just going down on the main page, and the created playlists are listed there as well. Each of those are organized by subject. So for example, I have a healer created page, created playlist. I will put that healer playlist in the description of this in case you're interested in looking at all of my other healer content. I will put that in there as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Bye.